See what our next guest thinks. He has a front row seat to the way this is all playing out and says China wins when it comes to making the cheapest products, but when it comes to making the best, the U.S. should come out on top. Joining us now is Tusk Venture Partners co-founder and managing partner Bradley Tusk. Bradley, it's good to see you. So where do you kind of fall in this debate?
Yeah, I think in that Andreessen, Gurley, Gerstner camp, which is, like you mentioned, if the question is who can produce the cheapest products at the lowest quality, fastest, that's still China for sure. But when it is who can produce the absolute best products, the best technology, the best innovation, that's still the United States. And that gets to the question of, okay, if we do better in that kind of competition, which situation is better for U.S. companies, a free market or lots of government controls? And I would argue that a free market where we can export and import freely, bring in the raw materials we need, sell chips when we need to, and be able to really access everything the world has to allow us to come out on top, that's really our best bet here. I just don't have enough faith in government, regardless of which party runs it, for them to run this fight correctly.
And yet, you look back at the past few years and you say, okay, the delays that China has, faced because they don't have the latest technology and there have been these controls. Even something as simple as AI is written in English, right? That's the global language. And if you spin this story forward 10 or 15 years, if their plan is, world dominance by 2039 or whatever that 100-year anniversary is of the CCP, maybe the next phase of technology is theirs to dictate. And so does it feel kind of easy for us now to go, yeah, let's make sure that the markets are open and competitive, but kind of not aware of just the full downsides of what could happen if they end up leapfrogging us in some ways?
Yeah, I mean, look, this is the risk on either side. And this is why these are good issues to debate, because no one actually knows the answer. So, for example, DeepSeek arguably was able to develop a model that required a lot less compute and a lot less energy simply because they were actually banned from using U.S. chips and U.S. products and technology, and that forced them to become more innovative. So there's one argument to say the more that we kind of keep them in a box, the more they're going to end up being more innovative, and that's going to present a greater competition and threat to us. There's another one to say, well, if we keep them in a box, they won't be able to climb out of it. I kind of generally think that keeping China in a box doesn't tend to work. And not only would I like to see the U.S. just allow the free market to work and allow American companies to win, let's do that with energy too, right? So in order to really advance in AI, at the moment, we do believe that we need a lot of compute, which requires a lot of energy. And one thing the Trump administration can do is take the restrictions off. Make it a lot easier to permit and build nuclear facilities. I know Trump doesn't like wind, but it adds value. Solar, and whatever it is. For example, I would love to see the federal government create a program that incentivizes cities and states to compete against each other to get federal funding to say, you know what? All these roadblocks and obstacles that we put up against energy permitting, environmental reviews, community reviews, union labor, all of these things that stop us from building what we need, we're going to, the cities and states that embrace reform, we're going to reward you for that.
Yeah, I think